Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs in Fuego. We're documenting the journey of entrepreneurs such as Dr. Matthew Whitaker.
That's right.
How you doing?
That's right. I'm well, thank you.
Diamond Strategies.
That's right.
You do something that is incredible, and it's inclusion and diversity consulting.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
It's fascinating, and better you to explain it in your own words. What that is.
Well, I never envisioned myself doing it. I just grew up in a very, very diverse family. My father is black, my mom's black. They divorced. My mom started dating another woman, so I have two moms.
Was that weird for you?
No, not at all. It was normative to me. I didn't know any different. So I started understanding that it was different and not normal to other people when I got older.
Okay.
But for me, it was normal.
It was normal.
You know,
Okay.
my uncles, all of my uncles who are black, they're all married to Mexican-American women, Sinaloa, Chihuahua, Oaxaca. I have biracial cousins, Mexican cousins. I have Jews. I have folks that are Muslim, Christian in my family. When I got married, we, danced the tarantella. We broke the glass. We ate tamales. We did it all.
So you're very fortunate that you're growing up in this incredibly diverse society. Right? I mean, this clan of people that really see no,
we make it work. We make it work.
Barriers.
And as a consequence, others can make it work if they understand that diversity is their greatest strength. In my family, we have all sorts of stories, anecdotes, experiences that can be brought to bear to deal with any situation. And unfortunately, as I got older, I noticed other people in more homogenous circles didn't realize that they have that. And so I want to help them do that. And that's what we do at Diamond Strategies. I have a great team. And we work businesses, nonprofits, schools, individuals through training, facilitation, coaching, presentations, and workshops to help them diversify.
To help them diversify and understand what a multicultural, multi-ethnic society looks like and how that can help their businesses. Is that
without a doubt? Because if you understand that human beings, if I liken it to music, human beings are like jazz. Right. We're not like classical music. Beethoven's Fifth is wonderful. It's beautiful. Dun 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 dun. Right? Same music, notes played at different octaves. It's surreal. We're not that though. We're jazz. We're a bunch of different sounds played by different instruments at the same time to make a beautiful song.
And we improvise.
That's extemporaneous if we know what we're listening to. Right. And a lot of us don't know what we're listening to, and so I try to help people do that.
Your biggest challenge though, growing up, it was not within the family structure or the tribe, if you will, that you were growing up, but rather the perception from the outside looking in.
Right. The perception that somehow we didn't have as much to offer as we did.
Correct. How did you deal with it?
Well, I had a really wonderful support structure. My mother was a superhero, is a superhero to me. My extended family always built me up and affirmed not only me, but others in the family that we could do it and that we also had a responsibility to. I was always told that wherever I go, I am a representation of my home, my family, my church, my city, my state, my nation.
Sure.
Wherever you go, you're representative of where you're coming from. And we also solved every problem that came to our way. It didn't mean in solving it that somehow everything was okay all the time. Sometimes solving it meant dealing with internally, accepting something and being able to accept it for what it is and make lemonade out of lemons, make it work as best you can for you.
And so you create this beautiful company called Diamond Strategies.
That's right.
As a result of your own experiences, as a result of wanting to teach others that inclusion and that works not only, it doesn't only make sense from a societal perspective, but also makes good business sense.
It makes good business sense. Listen, I was a professor. I taught at the college level for almost 20 years. And what I learned is that businesses, people on the ground, nonprofits, folks that are working, non-traditional students, they don't often have the time and the money to be able to take a 16-week college course to help them understand Chicano studies or help them understand African American studies or Asian communities. And what I do and my team does is we have developed a way to help them do that on their own time and in different circumstances that benefit their own particular community.
Crash course in tolerance.
Basically, yeah.
Right?
For example, I had a major corporation, I won't say the name, that brought me in because they were hemorrhaging people of color and women, and they couldn't understand why. It's a tech company. And I went in and I said, well, let me do some reconnaissance, let me meet with the administration, let me meet with the leaders, the management, and let me meet with the employees. And what I found out is they knew nothing about each other. Nothing. Their corporate culture basically consumed everything, and they didn't realize that each individual had their own culture that they were coming from, and they need to make the mesh. And we did that, and we were very successful. So they went from about 11 people that were getting ready to be termed to those 11 people being retained and 9 of them getting promotions. We were very proud of that work.
We're living in very interesting times, and it would seem to me that we're trying to, or the message that we're listening to is trying to divide us. It's trying to move us away from that inclusive message that you are providing through your consulting services. How do we, as a society, move forward, and as businesses, as nonprofits, move forward and bring about more understanding and more tolerance in the business place and in our personal lives?
Well, the first thing we have to understand is change is perpetual. It's always going to happen. You have to plan for it. Demographic change has always happened. Technology has now put time and space in chains. So the demographic growth is growing exponentially, and there are a lot of people who simply can't adjust to it fast enough. That's why the millennial generation is so great. They multitask like we breathe. And if you're going to be successful, not only now, but further down in the 21st century, you're going to have to be able to multitask intellectually, spiritually, culturally. You're going to have to be able to see different people and audible like a quarterback based upon knowledge that's based upon experience with those folks to adapt to situations. There's not, one golden rule. There's not a black way of doing anything or an Asian way of doing things. There's nuances within communities. But when you interact with them and you learn, you do understand that there are some trends, there are some traits, there are some cultural practices that do transcend individuals. And so that's what we try to help people do, to understand that. Because let me tell you, 50 years or 60 years from now, if you're not able to do that, you are not going to be successful in the business world. You're not going to be successful in the nonprofit world.
There are those fringes of society, though,
right,
that regardless of how much change there is, they would still try to preserve those old prejudices and so forth. And I suppose part of what you do is to be able to educate those people, try to just tell them, hey, look, I'm no different than you. I bleed the same, I smile the same, I have probably the same ambitions, the same weaknesses.
Right.
What's the difference between you and me? There really isn't.
And you have to, it's experiential. You have to have, so you can't just have a company that has a diversity statement. They all have them. To cover themselves politically.
You
and
check
what have
the box
you
and
check the box. No.
You feel good.
Yeah, it has to become a part of your culture.
Right.
And then people will see and understand. When I moved into my neighborhood, it's predominantly an LDS, Latter-day Saints Mormon neighborhood.
Yep.
We're the only family of color in our neighborhood. And when I moved in, I was talking to one of my neighbors, and there was this assumption that I was this radical, liberal Democrat. And when I just said in passing in a conversation that I'm actually an independent, you should have seen the look on their face. The assumption that they made simply by the fact of the work that I do and the color of my skin and where I came from, they made that assumption. And I just joked. I didn't take it personally. I said, I understand there's some trends and you were probably going with the numbers, right? And they said, but I've learned a lot from you. I've learned a lot. I didn't realize that. And I said, yeah, there are nuances. And so it's experience. You have to have the experiences, and you have to expose your employees to the experiences.
Unbelievable.
Thank you so much.
This is great information. I appreciate it. And I think tolerance is the key, right? If we're able to understand each other and tolerate, each other's nuances and ideas and so forth, then we can grow together as a society.
It's our greatest strength. Thank you so much.
You're awesome. With that,
Thanks.
we're out.